Okay, welcome back. Welcome to Los Angeles Chronicles, episode 28. I'm your podcast host, Malcolm, and today we're going to be talking about being a Lyft driver again. So, Lyft driving and getting a new car, hybrid car, and getting deactivated from my account. So, basically, got fired and rehired. And actually not even funny, but I think it sucks. But I'm worried about them doing that again and deactivating me like whenever they want. So looking around for the backup plan, like Plan B, and maybe getting a real job and being a Lyft on the side. So we'll see what happens. So let's see. Like last episode, I was talking about car trouble, and I don't know. I don't ever listen to my episodes and like listen to myself. But what happened was like I had the check engine light and the traction symbol came on when I was working a Lyft. Like after I dropped somebody off, and then I made it back home, and then I just like decided not to to fix my car and put more energy into that car because of the gas mileage. So I was looking for cars for like a week until I found something I really liked, and it actually the gas mileage on that is 55 miles per gallon, and then mine was a Chevy Sonic 2014, 32 miles per gallon. So I mean it's good on gas, and I got something I liked. So long story short, looking around and then had some second opinions from about three different guys that knew like way more about cars than me and than I did, and one thing, like, if you ever work at Lyft, don't ever try to get a car with a salvage title because they're not going to let you drive. So, yeah, don't do that. But there's the same car that was like $3,000 cheaper and with the salvage title and closer destination too. But I ended up, what I got was a 2022 Honda Insight hybrid car, and they don't make that model anymore. It was from 1999 until 2022. They made them. And the older ones looked like really weird, especially like from the late 90s until like 2005. And I joined the Reddit club online about the that car, like Honda Insight, and I've been talking to a bunch of people in there. So anyway, I go to the dealership. It's actually a Ford Kia dealership all the way out in Rancho Cucamonga, and it was $80 to get my Lyft ride out there, but I didn't even tell the guy that I was a driver too, and and then. So $80. I gave him a tip, so $90 just to get out there, and then I drove back home. So, yeah, that whole dealership experience, it took a good like maybe 4 or 5 hours out there looking at it and talking about financing and everything. I was able to get a pretty legit deal, like cheaper than what most people pay because of they take into account like the down payment and credit and all that good stuff. So I wanted my down payment to be more, but ended up putting like $2,000 down. So what happened? I mean, I sold my silver and my stocks and my digital camera, and I came up with the money. So yeah, I drove back, and I'm still actually getting used to it. So had the car for like a week or 2 weeks, and just taking care of it and getting used to this hybrid deal. So and it's way better on gas. So after I've been at Lyft for 2 days back, so it's a different world, like when you're driving like a good hybrid car on gas as opposed to like one that's 32 miles per gallon. So yeah, that's where we're at. So yeah, I'm back on the road, saving lives and taking people to their destinations. So it's actually like it's making fun of it. It's not like saving someone's life, but if you think about it, if you're picking up a bunch of drunk people, that's like one less drunk driver on the road. So think about that as opposed to doing something else, so get the right foundation out there, So what else? Yeah, stuff going on at the Buddhist temple that I go to. So it was called the Fochi, like recitation again, and I mentioned that in an episode before too. You just keep on reciting hundreds, thousands of times, and it's pretty cool. But the thing about that is you go through obstructions going there. So what happened was I got fired from my job. So this is what happened. I get a new car, and there's stuff you have to do when you get a new car at Lyft. You have to, remove the other one and go through a process and like add the new one, remove the other one, and go get like the inspection form and the car insurance. So it was a process to get the car insurance. So AAA wouldn't take me, and a bunch of people rejected me. Is because if you say, "Hey, I work at Lyft," then they can't take you on. They want that liability and responsibility. So I ended up getting. It's not like a shady company, but if you ever heard of like Legacy Pacific Insurance in LA, like start running, because I used to have them a long time ago, like 2009, 2010. And I had a very bad experience. I don't know if it's like some kind of independent, kind of shady company. Anyway, I'm with it's a Bristol West Insurance, and it's an umbrella. It's like Freeway Insurance, and they have like some people say negative things about them, but I mean, at least it's an office you can go to, and it's more legit than what I had. So hopefully nothing bad happens. Knock on wood, So, but too bad about AAA, because I used to have the AAA insurance, and that was pretty cool. So, the inspection form, you have to go get the inspection form again, and the place I go to, and it's like in El Monte, California, and the guy's cool, but the thing is, like, you submit the form to Lyft, and then they said the form was blurry, they couldn't see it, and then we can see it, it's clear, and they didn't see it because it was like it's a different format when you submit it. It has to be like a PNG format, and I submitted a JPN file several times, like 7 different times. So here they are emailing me saying like, hey, you signed something, and then saying that you wouldn't submit it like in a certain way or something. And when you start a job, you don't have time to read like 15 pages worth of stuff. So just sign and date. So what happened was they said you can no longer drive at Lyft. And from my experience, when I got that email, I'm like, oh, hell no, this is bad news right here. It's because they can like deactivate me whenever they want and do whatever they want to me. So that's why I mentioned before about getting like a backup plan, like a real job or something, because what happened was like I didn't even drive at Lyft for like a good 18 to 20 days. So I was happy to get like sign back on and go out there again. So but I was applying everywhere. I was going to Indeed.com and submitting applications, and only 2 people got back to me too. So yeah, so and then I was like depressed and stressed out because of my job, whatever. But at least I'm back. So they emailed me one morning saying I can come back, and some kind of like escalated specialist from Lyft. So I ended up calling a support number and talking to one of the guys that was like specialist team, and I sent a letter to the corporate office, and I sent a letter to Carl's Jr. to complain about them not having the Beyond Burger or whatever. And then I need to send 2 more corporate office letters too, by the way. And yeah, good to be back. So so you set like a goal to make a certain amount of money a day. So what I do is I keep on like driving until I get that amount. And had some interesting people. What else? Yeah, like they people that worked at like Warner Brothers music, like Warner Brothers Records, not the film part of it, but the music. And they actually moved the studio from like maybe it was in Burbank in the 90s, and they moved it to the Arts District in downtown LA. So I ended up like going all the way across LA, like pick someone up like on Alvarado and near Sunset over there, like I guess Silver Lake area, and then to Santa Monica, and then from there to Sherman Oaks, where they had this Christmas party. And they're like, why are they having the Christmas party all the way out in Sherman Oaks? So yeah, it's a good like listening to like a good hour of gossip and drama from Warner Brothers Records. But I was like, hey, thanks for working there, because I listened to some of the music. So I want to give a shout out to Biohazard State of the World Address from 1994. That was on Warner Brothers Records. And of course, they never heard of it, but I mean, those guys now, I don't know if they're working at the pizza shop or not, or like one of the guys used to be a bouncer, like in between the tours. But they were big enough, like back then, to get on that record label, and then like Roadrunner after that. And they're like Brooklyn metal kind of band. So they're good though. And then like last night I had a very difficult customer actually. Excuse me, I don't know if I'm getting kind of sick. Got like a scratchy kind of thing going on. I need to get one of those scarves and you gotta protect your neck, So waiting on to get that in the mail from Amazon actually. So I don't miss that, by the way. So I was telling somebody about that last night. So had a difficult, very challenging customer, and I think if it weren't for the chime meditation, I wouldn't have been able to take it. So like I started my day in Rosemead, and then I picked him up. So it was a good 9-10 minutes away, and then but there was traffic on the way to get him. So here's these messages like, "Where are you? Where are you?" And I'm like, "Hey, I'm on this boulevard. Can't even turn left." And then I had to like go all the way down and make a U-turn, and then go get him on it was like something like Arrowjet Avenue. And I get this guy, he's big dude on crutches or something, and he's having a bad day. He gets in the car. He needs to go to the chiropractor in downtown LA, like on Flower, and then it's a lot of traffic just to get over there. So it's like 5 o'clock traffic on in LA. So he looks it up and he's like, damn man, I don't think we're gonna make it. And I'm like, what do you want to do, sir? It was up to you. I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, whatever they. I'm on their time, they're on my time, or Lyft. And anyway, like we decided not to pull over and figure out where he's gonna go. So he tried to get me to go somewhere like in Crescent Heights, so it's actually like 30 minutes away, like longer than the destination to the downtown LA. So it's 30 minutes from where we were pulled over to get to downtown LA, but it was 54 minutes to get to Crescent Heights. And I'm like, man, I can't do that, because that's like, we could go out the way and take you to a different destination, but that's like an even longer trip. And that's not fair to me, So he agreed just to go back to the chiropractor that was closed down, and then he was going to take it from there and get like someone to pick him up. So then he started calling a bunch of people and like, hey, where are you at? Can you come pick me up? And it was like some shady people he was calling. And then like after they hung up the phone, here's this woman. He's like saying some bad things or whatever. Anyway, so we didn't go to downtown LA. He gets an idea to go to East LA because it's like closer than that. And then the people he knew were in Hollywood Hills, and that's even farther away. So I'm not gonna take him there. So then like pull over again for like a good 15 minutes to decide what we're gonna do. To go to like we're on East LA, like near it was on Mission and Cesar Chavez. And this is like the next day. I think it's actually kind of funny because this guy's like he wants me to take him all the way across town, and then he says all this like some stuff that's kind of out of line, but it was it's good to have a sense of humor about it, So he said, well, take me to the store. And then and like the nearest store nearby, I knew that store was El Super in Bull Heights, because I remember my first day at Coca-Cola, like I just busted my ass with this like hardcore badass like at that store. So I always remember that store, and his name was Raul. And then we went in there, and he called in sick the next day actually, and like some other badass was working. His name was Francisco, and he said, hey, it's a lot of work, bro. Hey, you lose a lot of weight at Coke. Time flies by at Coke. He's saying that. And then so then we get to the store, but no, he was talking about hey, I'll give you $20 cash if you take me to I went in Crescent Heights. It was something else. It was like, it was another hour away thing, and I'm like, well, Lyft is probably gonna charge you like $46 to take you. And then I was ready to drop that guy off, because it took a good. I was with him for a good hour. So, and then he said, hey, you got a phone charger? And I let him use his phone charger. And he said, hey, can you sell this? How much do you want for this? And then I'm like, well, hey, I need that for work, right? So what happens is I take that charger every day for work, because the Lyft app, the application, it drains the battery. I have an Android phone, so then I think my phone was at a good like 45-50%, and then once it gets to 30%, I start using that charger. And if I don't use the charger, then it's gonna just eventually run out, and I can't even work. So he uses the phone charger, and then he like offered me no, he said, hey, can I smoke? And I'm like, no, sir, you can't smoke. And then it was, hey, and then I think 15 minutes later, it was like, hey, do you smoke water? And I'm like, what does that mean anyway, smoke water? I had to like Google it on the Urban Dictionary, and it means you smoke out the bong or something. So, talking about some kind of car accident he got into, and then, anyway, it was, yeah, no, I don't smoke weed, and I was just like happy to take him to get rid of him at the El Super. So here he is, and anyway, I know I'm saying all this stuff, so like I had to go through like my repentance today. I like repented because of like all the bad things I was thinking about him, and I couldn't, like, the point is I couldn't drop it later. So it's like, okay, you're thinking about it, and then you drop it and you move on, and then the thoughts came back to me, and I think it's like some kind of manic, some kind of bipolar ghost that came back to me. I know that didn't make any sense, but it was like, and I was thinking like some like judgmental things about him and like racist things about him, and like that ain't me, man. That's like got to be some kind of ghost that's like putting some kind of electric current into my brain, you know what I mean? So here he is at El Super, and then I went through the repentance a couple hours ago this morning, actually, to be honest with you. So got to repent again after this one, you know. So he ended up taking my charger, and then I actually knew that he took the charger like 5 minutes later. And I'm like, oh, hell no, he took the charger. So then that means I can't even work for too much longer. And I could have gone back to him to the store and then got the charger back, but I didn't want to see him again. So that's where I was coming from. I was like, because then he's probably going to get me to take him like Lyft again. And I just wanted to move on. So what happened was, like, I got 2 more rides. Like one lady that was nearby in Ball Heights or whatever, we went to Pasadena, and then from Pasadena to near Altadena, and then that was so that was 3 rides altogether. So yeah, sorry about that. So the other ride was to Altadena, and then we ended up talking to the guy, and he said something about hey, do you have like a lot of interesting stories at Lyft? And he said something about some guy that had he found a snake in the back seat, and what happened was, like, I don't know who put the snake back there, but it was like a big enough snake to scare somebody. And like, how do I get rid of the snake in the back seat of my car? So he said what the guy said, man, was he's picking up, you know, drunk people, and then here's these 2 ladies, you know, like in their 20s, and they've been drinking, and he takes them home, and then they said, hey, it's a nice snake back here, and then and then he said, what are you talking about? And then they ended up pulling over and found they had to call the fire department to get rid of the snake. So I mean, I've never heard that one before. So it's usually like, hey, take home the drunk people or take home whoever, you know. But here, I mean, what am I supposed to do? Is like Indiana Jones would be afraid of the snake, you know. So no, I said something. I was like, hey, be a man to get rid of the snake, you know. Indiana Jones would have. Now he would have like got up against the wall and just been terrified. But I was like, man, maybe Batman could have gotten rid of the snake, you know. So yeah, very interesting actually. But no, that hasn't happened to me. But I was just talking about how it's easier or safer than Amazon, because I mean, 300 packages or whatever, 260 to 340 packages. I said the most I've ever done was 360 packages, and that was a long day. It was a brutal day actually. So he'd be like, damn, that's a lot of work, you know. So this is kind of, I mean, it's safer than that, as opposed to, you know, running out and getting injured and stuff. So, but it's still dangerous. So here we are in Altadena, and then that was, my last stop. So what I did was started thinking about where I can get the charger, and if I want to like charge it up and then go back to work that night. But what it ended up doing was like going from Altadena to Rosemead to the Walmart, and then you get some person to unlock the cabinet to get the charger and the USB cable for you, because that's a high theft Walmart. And people talk about it actually. It was like there's the CVS there, everybody locks up the CVS in Covina and stuff like that too. So I came home, and actually I signed back on the Lyft, and I could get the charger to work in the car with a cigarette lighter. And then I signed back on, and then here's another ride that said like to El Monte there's $21. That was a $21 ride, but it was like 10 minutes to get to him. And then I took that as like a sign. I was like, okay, 10 minutes to get this guy too. It might be, I don't want to go through like another kind of too much of a challenging thing too. So then what I did was I just signed off and then went back home and watched the rest of my movie and charged up the phone. So yeah. So the movie that I watched is like, everybody's seen Home Alone, so I watched it and I didn't see it last year. So there was I mean, I've memorized the whole thing pretty much, grew up on it, but there's that one scene in the beginning where she's like, "Get upstairs, Kevin. I am upstairs, dummy." And I was like, hell no. I mean, if you said that to your mom in South Carolina or something, be like, "Yes, ma'am," and whatever, that's like straight up ass beating. But like, imagine if they beat up the kid like that early in the movie and it turned into like a dark comedy or whatever. There'd be no way that the movie would make it big, you know. Like if you said all this like American disrespectful stuff for your parents, or maybe it's different in the Midwest, or I mean, I know the movie is different, but you wouldn't say that like in the Asian culture. It'd be like, you know, beat the kid, you know, like. So I was like, what if they make like a Home Alone 7 and then actually beat the kid and then make him go through like endure a lot of hardships, you know? But the reason I mentioned the movie is because like my homie from Majama, there's 3 guys, like I don't know if I've mentioned, yeah, like had Majama podcast on here, and that's like a film critic show. So it's three guys, 2 brothers, and Italians. So what they did is shout out to Majama. They reviewed Home Alone 3 and 4. Yeah, 3, 4, and I think there's a 5 and 6, and it's like the worst movie you're ever gonna watch in your life. So I feel bad for them. I was like, man, I wish you guys got paid $20 to watch this movie, because this how like blasphemous it is and how bad it is, you know. They said there's actually like a good 20 minutes of decent stuff in Home Alone 3, and then it's really downhill after that. Like, and that's keeping an open mind too, like being open-minded as soon as you put it in. But the first 2, of course, are good. So yeah, that sucks that they even made that though. I mean, but if you made like a Home Alone like My Way, then My Way or the Highway, like I'd say do that, you know. And that's about it. So supposed to be a guest on this episode, but you couldn't make it. So hopefully tomorrow things will work out for that. And yeah, signing off. Merry Christmas, everybody. Yeah. What's today? Today's December 14th, I think. So yeah, we got like a good 11 more days to get some 99-cent store shopping and take care of some business. Back in business. All right. So, oh yeah, back in business. That's me right there, Lyft, and I'm gonna try to get on Uber too. So, the reason I couldn't get on Uber before, by the way, is because of the app. Like you have to have they said submit the car insurance, and that's my thing, man. You can't even talk to anybody in the office, and I'm surprised I could talk to somebody at Lyft, and the Indian that picked up the phone or whatever. But submit the car insurance 7 times, 20 times, they won't get it. So I think the thing is because the driver's license has to match the address on your insurance. So what happened was I have my Burbank address was different than was still on my driver's license. So what I did was I went to the DMV last week in El Monte and got my updated to change the address. So hopefully that works out, because like more people use Uber than Lyft supposedly, but I was able to survive off of Lyft. So yeah, let's do both and put 2 stickers. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention my car. The Chevy Sonic, I actually sold that. So I was able to, first I put it selling it for $3,500, and it's got 160,000 miles. So put some Craigslist ads up, and then I just I kept on lowering the price, because I'd rather get rid of it than keep the car. Get rid of it, so I don't have to think about it anymore, because there's street parking, and picture getting two tickets for 2 cars if you park on the wrong street. So long story short, I was able to get $1,800. So yeah, arguing with the guy in the street about, he's like, what happened was my niece needs this car she's a student, and then he says, what happened was my nephew needs this car, and sitting there lying to me and arguing back and forth on the street. So I was able to get, that's a pretty decent amount for what it was. So yeah, had to say goodbye, and that was my baby, but goodbye, so gotta get used to all these changes, so change is good. Alright, so thanks for listening, and thank you everyone, bye.